I'm John Robeson. We're here at Robeson Service looking at a really exceptional 8,800 mile Bentley Brooklands. It's been in the same family since it was new in 1996. This car has lived most of its life in Switzerland. It was imported to the United States last year, and it's got quite a bit of overdue service, having sat for a long time. This car has Goodyear Assurance tires on it that are actually date coded 2024, and the tires are good. Somebody has replaced the main brake hoses. You can see new brake hoses in the front, but they did not service the accumulators. You can see what looks like the original undercoat on the green accumulator balls there, and you can just barely see up there that the original supply and return lines for the high pressure oil remain original. And of course, those are the most important because those carry the high pressure oil all the time. You can see here there's some oil leakage in the front, but there's a lot of oil leakage in the back. And looking at the color, look at it's on the exhaust and it's burning. Look at it streamed back here. It's actually dripping off the exhaust in the middle of the car. It's dripping here at the back. That comes all the way back to the wetness in between the back wheels. And here is the exhaust, the rear muffler sprayed with oil. That is all hydraulic oil from the front pump, which we will look at. The car also has oil dripping. You can see right there out of the left-hand shock. You can see the oil there on the bushing. That happens when the gas springs wear out, and if the front accumulators are a guide, the gas springs in this car are probably original. So that needs to be done. This shock is just starting to leak. See how there's just a hint of wetness there, just a little bit? But the shocks are replaced in pairs, so normally, if you've got one in total failure and the other starting, you change them both. The subframe dampers, these are original. This one is fairly dry, but the one on the other side is all damp with wetness from leakage. So again, you change both. We can see this car has new rear brake hoses there, but the fuel filter and the fuel pump hoses and such, those are all original. The car has had some brake pads put in it. You can see those, but the calipers are supposed to be taken apart and resealed every decade, and that does not appear to have ever been done. I first thought we could leave the calipers, but when you look at the video here, you see this spot there? That is the beginning of hydraulic oil leakage coming out those bolts that hold the two halves of the calipers together. So I actually think that even though somebody just put brake pads in this car, we would be prudent to take apart and reseal the calipers. It's a fair bit of work to do that, but it's better to do it now than once the oil gets out and ruins the new brake pads. There's no sign of leakage here on the front calipers. This caliper, see how it's darker than the other one? That darkness is often an indication that it's starting to seep and it's picked up dust. See here how it's lighter in the middle, darker here. That again is suggestive of the beginnings of seepage. And you can see it's got new brake rotors there, it's got new brake hardware, and whoever did that work, I guess, didn't realize that the calipers were also a service item on these cars. You can see there's, this is the drip tray underneath the brake distribution valves. You can see it's dripping oil. That's a fairly common thing to see. The drip tray is something that we pull and clean every year for service. It looks to me like the transmission fluid has been changed. It looks like the pan's been removed and that's been cleaned, and if so, that's good. So there's some general service. I don't see evidence that the rear axle has been serviced, and at 30 years of age, I certainly would do the fluid in there. Another thing that we call out, the car is sagging quite a bit. You can see it's still sitting on the original springs. What happens with these cars is they ride on hydraulic pressure with a foundation of coil springs, and when the coils age, they sag, and it lets the car sit lower and lower and back after it's been shut down for a week or so. When it sits, it pushes hydraulic oil back to the front, and the lower it sags, the more oil it pushes to the front until eventually it overflows. And that's why you end up changing rear springs in these cars as you get old. So I would say this car is ready for that. These are the high points of the service that we see. But before we leave this car, I'd just like to show you, look how clean this is. There are no scratches or marks on any of the painted surfaces, no damage to the spare tire cover, any of this from bottoming out. There's no corrosion. All this brown that you see is the factory undercoat. The sills, all this is all clean. Look under here, and this is a really, really nice car. It's really a very rare find. We've got actually another really nice one right here next to it. And we're fortunate to actually have two very similar pieces here today. And we'll go on and we'll look at the top of the engine bay next.